My story. Be open. Listen. I grew up in rural areas in Germany, which are smaller towns.
I'm African American, so of course my roots derived from Africa. My ancestors were slaves.
Je suis né en Côte d'Ivoire, à Abidjan, et à l'âge de 11 ans, j'ai atterri en Belgique.
Je suis né et grandi au Cameroun.
I live now in Oakland, California, although I am a native New Yorker. So born and raised in New York.
Mes parents sont originaires du sud de la Tunisie.
I'm French, that's my nationality, but I am originally from Ivory Coast in Africa.
My mother is English Jamaican, so both of her parents are Jamaican, but then there's a lot of mixage on her family side. There's Chinese and Indian. And on my father's side, it's very simple, it's Congolese.
I was originally born in Ethiopia, and we moved to the United States when I was 5 years old.
I'm originally from Ghana, and I moved here to Belgium, I think 13 or 14 years ago to join my father.
I live in London. I have worked for Levi's for nearly 6 years.
My journey with race is firstly as a black man, but I'm also mixed race.
J'avais jamais quitté la maison familiale avec ma mère et tout ça, et j'atterris dans un pays que je connais pas. Voilà, j'ai dû m'adapter et prendre sur moi et regarder autour de moi comment ça se passait.
En fait, plus je grandissais, plus je voyais les remarques. Je pense avoir eu de la chance à ce niveau-là, je vais dire grâce à mes parents qui ont peut-être sacrifié beaucoup de choses pour nous permettre d'avoir une enfance normale.
Growing up in Germany, mostly I tried to fit in. I tried to behave like a German, which is strange. So what is a real German? There's no real German. So then we moved away. And this was a completely different area because it was diverse.
I grew up in a neighborhood in the Bronx where it was Haitians, which my parents are from Haiti, Haitians, Trinidad, Tobago, Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. So there was a lot of representation of people of color in my neighborhood growing up.
This helped me to gain more confidence in representing my heritage or representing the culture.
But my mom, she used to work in New York City in Manhattan. Representation looked very different when you're traversing from the Bronx, hopping on the 2 train to get to Manhattan. I had that in my mind growing up of how I needed to present myself in a different way.
Chaque étape de ma vie, c'était je suis une femme noire, donc je dois faire 2 fois plus que les autres, je pense. Et en gros, c'est un peu ça mon challenge, c'est d'y aller 2 fois plus.
There were moments growing up where, you know, I felt sometimes out of place and not really sure where my spot was. You're reminded that you are from this community, and that means you may not have access to certain things that other people from other communities have access to easily.
Well, I mean, when we talk about my identity, I think about my Black identity. It's always not been easy. You come here where, you know, you feel like you are not welcome in the scenarios. Yeah.
I think for me, kind of growing up and coming into adulthood, you expect people to do things or treat you in a certain way because it's the right thing to do. You have to kind of take a step back and say, okay, just because I have these values or I have these morals or I treat people the way that I would like to be treated doesn't mean that there's going to be that reciprocity.
And it's, I think, a mingling of life experiences where, one, to learn to be comfortable within your own skin. Like that's there's an intermingling there of how you see yourself fitting in the world, where you have to kind of put on a suit of armor to arm yourself against stereotypes and thoughts and perceptions that you may not belong.
I think it's really, really important to surround yourself with people that elevate you, with people that challenge you, ultimately to make you grow and do better and be better for others.
When I think about how representation has changed over the past decade or so, we have a Black female vice president. You know, we have Ketanji Brown Jackson, who is now part of the Supreme Justice, and so those significant things really play a role as to, you know, why it matters and just the influences that and the inspiration that those types of people can be.
Le fait d'avoir un modèle dans la culture ou dans la vie en général, ça te permet aussi de te fixer un cap.
C'est important d'avoir quelqu'un sur qui on peut se dire ok, moi plus grand ou plus tard dans ma vie, j'ai envie de ressembler à cette personne.
Ça me permet plus de dire qu'au moins je suis pas seul et que je sais qu'il y a quelqu'un qui est passé par là et cette personne-là y est arrivée ou cette personne-là est assez importante, donc je pense que je peux y arriver aussi surtout. C'est comme ça que je vois.
C'est des gens qui personnellement ont créé mon personnage dans un sens et de qui je me suis inspiré aussi pour beaucoup de choses dans ma vie. James Baldwin, par exemple, LeBron James, Omar Sy, Nelson Mandela, Obama aussi.
My pops is from Africa, from Ghana, and so he always gave me the heritage and the consciousness of being African, and so he always said to me, you have the best of both worlds. And that's really how I feel with being bicultural, I would say, yeah.
Stories for days about them growing up, Port-au-Prince and whatnot, and just their history and their connection to their country that they love so much.
For me personally, heritage means honoring. It means acknowledging those who came before you.
We grew up in such a richness. How do we keep this going? How do you share that knowledge? We don't want to lose that. And to find moments to even with my dad when speaking to him in Haitian Creole, with my sister, those little nuggets that you have to kind of keep the oils flowing through the pipes of our beautiful culture. And we have to find a way to make sure that is sustained.
It's definitely personal to me when it comes to celebrating heritage, you know, knowing where I came from and honoring those who came before me. For me, it's almost a requirement.
Our history is so long and rich that it cannot be denied. And we embrace that.
And it's also a catalyst to make me want to go harder and drive harder and push harder when it comes to career and family and education. It's really a motivator.
What does diversity mean to me? Feeling comfortable, just because I know that the surrounding I have accepts me and takes me as I am and wants to get to know me. So this is diversity for me.
It's that combination of different ways of thinking and different ways of looking at a problem or different ways of solving issues or coming up with ideas that's going to help companies move forward.
It makes me feel included. It makes me feel like I have a seat at the table.
Talking about our lives and our history and the way we are is important because it can encourage people to just be themselves.
C'est juste une fois faire pause en fait et de se dire je peux être totalement normal en fait et lâcher prise en fait, c'est ça.
SAWUBONA means for me, or is for me, kind of a living room where I just meet people I feel comfortable with and where I can embrace myself, have fun with each other and share stories just like at my parents' home.
What I get out of being a part of Project Onyx, it's really that safe space. It's really a place where I can go and I can bring my full self.
You can remove the cape. You can remove the facade, if you will. I think that's the best of being your authentic self, where you can just shoot the breeze, say whatever it is that's on your mind, and people get it. You know, when you're in that space of ERGs and other people of color, sometimes you don't even have to verbalize. You just give a look and instantly, girl, I feel you.
I joined SAWUBONA when I was in a dark headspace, and somebody popped into my WhatsApp chat during lockdown, and they brought me out of that space, and that's really where it's got me to today.
Things that happen, you know, domestically, especially here in the US, is not always pretty, but we can still have a voice and still express, you know, how we feel in a raw and uncut and unfiltered way, and it be okay.
We're able to start building more awareness about our community and who we are, and not just the sad stories and not just, you know, the hardships, but the positive side, the joy, the culture, all the richness that is represented within our group. We have people from so many different backgrounds, different countries in Africa and the Caribbean, you know, born and raised in Europe as well. And being able to celebrate that is incredibly important and really powerful.
It makes me want to give more. It makes me want to share more. Being able to share my experiences, because you never know who's watching, and you never know, you know, who you'll impact.
For me, it's to be seen as a feeling. So a feeling of appreciation, of being your true self. It's that feeling of being part of something.
And we are able to share minutes together where we are laughing, we are crying, and yeah, this just makes me feel really proud right now.
It's easier to break a broom than to break a bunch, right? And I think that there's a lot of challenges in the world today that if we teaming up together, right, we can, solve more than we are actually doing.
You know, when it comes to, you know, what we have to offer and what we have to give, you know, I think once we realize we have that power, you know, we could really drive change to really help our children, you know, for the future.
My hopes for the future are little boys and girls that once were like me, have a brighter, clearer pathway.
Peut-être qu'il y aura une génération de parents qui vont avoir des enfants qui vont pas leur dire qu'ils doivent faire plus parce qu'ils sont noirs, juste parce qu'ils sont exceptionnels ou parce qu'ils ont envie de le faire. Je pense que c'est ça.
I would love there to be a day when we don't have to say anymore the first Black woman, where we don't have to set milestones for every achievement that we have made. That is hugely important. That's where representation should be.
Je vais être père. J'aimerais que mon enfant grandisse dans un monde d'égalité.
I definitely have a wish for my daughter, especially that she can follow her dreams without having anyone else keeping her small, telling her that she's not worth or that she can't do something.
Qu'on aille tous très très loin avec le sourire et qu'on soit tous toujours aussi joyeux et contents de se retrouver et qu'on soit toujours plus grands en fait.
En un mot.
Ensemble, voilà la force.
Soleil. Je sais pas, là aujourd'hui, c'est par exemple, c'est une journée de soleil, c'est une journée où on sourit tous, je sais pas, on a l'air tous contents.
The very first thing that comes to mind is family.
I would describe it as family.
Family.
The second thing is peace. Peace in yourself. Peace in being able to be who you truly are. And knowing that I have peace when I come to work. Because of the people that I'm around and because of the things that we're doing.
Greatness, that's what comes to my mind.
Rire.
Reconnaissance.
Aishallo.
I see you.
It's just love, you know? Just spread the love.
Whoop, whoop.